Okay, get this right. 1966, Brazil. Everyone's obsessed with, like, the space race and aliens, right?
Yeah.
But in Niterói, something totally weird happens. Two guys are found dead on this hillside, and it's so strange people are still talking about it. It's the lead masks case.
Yeah, it's been a head scratcher for years. What makes it so interesting, I think, is it's got this mix of everyday stuff, like these two electronics technicians just, doing their thing, and then bam, these bizarre details like the lead masks shaped like sunglasses. Crazy. It's a real-life X-Files episode almost.
Right. Lead masks, that's not your typical Tuesday afternoon, or it's like
Mhm.
you'd expect superheroes or something. But no, this is real. And not a happy ending either. So let's break it down. The guys who died were Manoel, Pereira, Cruz, and Miguel José Viana from Campos dos Goitacazes. It's about 150 miles from Rio.
And yeah, like you said, electronics technicians, it's a key detail. We'll come back to that. But just sticking to the facts for now, on August 17th, 1966, Manuel and Miguel tell their wives, hey, we're going to Sao Paulo. Big city, tons of electronics, supposed to be for work.
Pretty normal, right? Except they never get to São Paulo. They hop on a bus to Niterói, across from Rio.
And here's where it gets weird. They get to Niterói, it's like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
They make a couple of purchases, really strange ones. First, they buy a raincoat at a hardware store. But get this, it's a sunny day. Then they stop at a convenience store for a bottle of water. The guy at the store, he told police Miguel was super nervous, like really on edge about something.
Okay, raincoat on a sunny day, acting all jittery. I'm officially hooked. So what happened next?
Well, after that, it's like they disappear. Poof. Gone. 4 days later, August 20th, a teenager finds their bodies out on this remote hillside, just walking by.
Wait, so 4 days, no one knows where they are.
Yeah.
And then dead on a hillside with lead masks. I'm guessing it wasn't a pretty scene, right?
Oh, no, not at all. Picture this. They're lying on their backs, all dressed up in suits, lead masks on their faces. The masks, they're like homemade, big, like oversized sunglasses, really crude. No signs of a struggle, no weapons, nothing. Just not dead.
Like they laid down and that was it. Creepy. What about the other stuff? You mentioned a note.
Yeah, that's a big part of the mystery. This note, written in Portuguese, found next to the bodies. It tells them to take capsules at a certain time and wait for a signal from the masks. It says 16.3 Lear B at the determined place, 18.3 where you swallow the capsules. After the effect, protect metals, wait for the mask signal.
Whoa, hold on. Swallow capsules, protect metals, mask signal. Was that some secret code?
Wish we knew, no one's figured it out. It's one reason this case still bugs people. Besides the note, they found an empty water bottle, 2 towels, a notepad full of symbols and numbers, total gibberish really, and bus tickets to Niterói.
So weird items, creepy note, dead guys in suits, wearing lead masks. What'd the autopsy say?
Another mystery. Cause of death. Undetermined. No signs of violence on the bodies, no poison, no trauma. But here's the catch. They were so decomposed, they couldn't do toxicology tests.
So no idea how they died. This is getting weirder by the minute. It's like a puzzle with no picture on the box, half the piece is missing. But there's got to be something, some clue, right?
Actually, there might be. Remember, they were electronics technicians. Turns out, Manuel, one of the guys, he had this friend, Elcio Correa Gomes. He might be able to shed some light on this whole thing.
Okay, a friend of the victim, maybe he knows something, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this Elcio guy. Who was he? What did he have to say?
Elcio, well, he was a bit of a character, kind of an oddball, He messed around with electronics, but he was really into this, I guess you could call it scientific spiritualism, like mixing science and the occult.
Scientific spiritualism. Okay, I'm intrigued, but also a little lost. What's that all about?
It was a thing in Brazil back then. Certain groups were really into it. Kind of a mishmash of ideas, esoteric stuff, some early 20th century physics thrown in there. They were trying to, connect the dots between the real world and the spiritual, I guess. Using science to explore psychic powers, altered states, that kind of thing.
So Elcio was into some pretty out there stuff.
Yeah.
But how does he fit into Manuel and Miguel's deaths? It's the connection.
Well, Elcio told the police that he and the 2 guys who died, they were all part of this group practicing this scientific spiritualism. They'd go off to remote places, do these experiments, rituals. Sometimes they'd take something to, open their minds,
Yeah.
trying to contact spirits or reach other dimensions, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, we're getting somewhere. The capsules from the note, the symbols, the hillside location, it's all starting to sound like some kind of ritual, right? But what about those lead masks? How did they fit in?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Elcio didn't really explain the masks. He did mention that the group, they believe certain metals, like amplified psychic energy, focused it or something.
Yeah.
So maybe the masks were part of the ritual, maybe to help them see things or protect them from, I don't know, some unseen force.
Okay, that's pretty wild, but it does fit with the whole scientific spiritualism thing. But hold on, Elcio wasn't even in Niterói when they died, right? People saw him back in Campos. So how much can we trust what he's saying?
Yeah, that's true. We have to be careful with Elsie's story. But here's the thing. The police did find books on, like, esotericism and spiritualism at Manuel and Miguel's homes, along with other electronic stuff. So there's something to what Elsio's saying, maybe.
Okay, so we've got this ritual angle, possibly mixed with some weird science experiments trying to tap into something
Yeah.
otherworldly. But there's another theory out there, and it takes this case from strange to totally mind-blowing. I'm talking about UFOs, right?
Of course. The UFO theory, that's the one that really got people's attention. It's hard to resist, you know? The mystery, the unknown. It's exciting.
Exactly. So for those who haven't heard this part, what's the deal with the lead masks case and UFOs?
Well, it all starts with a UFO sighting, same time as the deaths, same area. This woman, Gracinda Barbosa, and her kids, they said they saw this huge disc-shaped thing, orange lights, a glowing red ring hovering near the hillside.
A glowing red ring.
Mhm.
Sounds like a close encounter of the Spielberg kind. But seriously, a UFO sighting same time, same place as these mysterious deaths, that can't be just a coincidence, can it?
It's definitely a weird coincidence. And don't forget, this was the 60s, space race fever. Everyone was talking about UFOs and aliens, so naturally people started connecting the dots.
So what's the UFO theory say about the deaths? Were they abducted, experimented on? What's the thinking there?
There are a few versions floating around, but the most common one is that Manuel and Miguel, being electronics guys, they might have been trying to pick up signals from space, maybe even contact aliens, you know.
And the masks, were they like protection from alien mind rays or something?
Some folks think maybe they were trying to block out some kind of intense light or radiation from the UFO. Lead, it blocks radiation, right? So it kind of makes sense.
Okay, I gotta say, that's a cool idea. Two electronics guys, remote hillside, weird equipment, UFO sighting, lead masks for protection. It's like straight out of a movie.
Mhm.
But I have to ask, is there any actual evidence for the UFO theory? Like, really?
I wish I could say there's proof, but it's mostly circumstantial, you know. And the timing, the whole UFO craze back then, it played a part. We have the sighting, could have been anything, really. And
Mhm.
their jobs, yeah, they were into electronics, but that doesn't automatically mean they ran into a UFO.
So no alien laser guns or footprints at the scene. Bummer. But even without hard proof, the UFO theory adds a whole new layer to this, right? Makes you wonder, what if those masks really were for something? Not from this world. It's kind of spooky.
It is. And it shows how powerful the unknown is. We love a good mystery, the idea that there might be things out there we can't explain. But as tempting as it is to go the alien route, we got to stay grounded. There are other explanations, more down to earth, maybe something scientific, maybe even the dangerous experiment gone wrong.
Right. We can't forget those weird purchases, the note about capsules, and what Elcio said about their scientific spiritualism stuff. Clearly, Manuel and Miguel were up to something unusual, something that might have pushed the boundaries of science and maybe dipped into the unknown. But how far did they go? And what led them to that hillside, to their deaths? So where do we even start? We've got scientific spiritualism, we've got UFOs. It's like two mysteries for the price of one.
It really is. And the evidence, it's like it could fit either one or maybe even both somehow.
Okay, so how do we untangle this? What's the next step here?
Let's go back to the basics, right? They're dead, no signs of violence. Autopsy says, we don't know. That tells us whatever happened, it wasn't like someone attacked them or something obvious like that.
True, true. And when you factor in their whole scientific spiritualism thing, it opens up some possibilities. What if they took something, part of a ritual, and it, like, backfired? Had a bad reaction, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Remember the guy at the store said Miguel was nervous? Maybe it was about the ritual or what they were going to take. Who knows?
It's like a puzzle, but the pieces are all mixed up. From different puzzles, even. We get these little glimpses, the science, the spiritual stuff, the weird shopping trip. But the full picture, it's still blurry.
Yeah, for sure. But we got to think about the technology back then, 1966. Not like today, but they could still build things, experiment.
Wait, are you saying they might have built something, some device, and that's what caused their deaths?
Maybe it's possible. And this kind of brings us back to the UFOs, but in a different way. What if instead of just listening, they were trying to, like, attract a UFO? Or even, I don't know, communicate with it using something they built?
Whoa, hold up. You're saying they weren't just listening for signals, they were trying to make contact. That's pretty gutsy.
And maybe dangerous, right? Think about it. What if they actually made something, some kind of device, that sent out a signal, messed with a UFO somehow, caused it to malfunction, or maybe even, I don't know, defend itself?
Okay, now those lead masks make a lot more sense. Not to block alien mind control, but to protect them from their own device.
Right. It's a theory, of course, but it connects the dots, doesn't it? The electronics, the interest in the unknown, the weird stuff they bought, even the masks.
And no foul play. If they messed with a UFO, no one to blame but themselves, right?
Right.
It all comes back to, like you said, an experiment, a ritual, maybe a mix of both.
Exactly. And maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle, between what we know and what we don't. Science, spirituality, and trying to reach out to something bigger than ourselves.
It's kind of sad, wanting to learn to connect with something bigger, and it ends like this.
It is. It shows that even when we mean well, things can go wrong, especially when we're messing with stuff we don't really understand.
The lead masks case, it really makes you think, doesn't it? What if there are things out there that we'll just never understand? What if some mysteries are never meant to be solved?
It's a case that sticks with you, makes you use your imagination, ask questions about, like, what's real even. And it shows us that the universe is huge and mysterious and full of things we may never figure out.
And sometimes the best mysteries are the ones that leave you with more questions than answers. The lead masks case, it's a perfect example of that. It's a reminder that the unknown is everywhere, even in the everyday.
It's a case that tells us to keep asking questions, keep searching, and never lose that sense of wonder, even when things are scary or we don't have the answers.
So as we wrap up our deep dive in the lead masks case, we're left with this feeling of awe and this deep respect for the mysteries that are still out there. What happened on that hillside? Was it an experiment gone wrong, a ritual with a bad ending, or something we just can't even imagine? We may never know, but it's been a fascinating journey, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's been great exploring this with you, looking at the clues, thinking about what might have happened, and maybe getting a little closer to understanding the unexplainable.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and remember, the truth is out there somewhere.